Bigger was definitely better. More was definitely better.
Well, it was fun to get dressed up in the 80s, and it was easy to get dressed up.
We made them look that way. They looked very glamorous, even though they were in that inn in Vermont.
It was interesting to me now, I didn't think it then, that the last line of the show was, "You really should wear more sweaters." Because did the writers somehow know how these fashions were going to look in years to come? We didn't know they were ridiculous then and over the top.
They had many fittings all week long, and they had many choices, and those choices were always their choices.
We would just tell them the kind of things we liked, and they would learn where to find things.
They would bring them, 5 or 6 or 7 things, and they would pick the things that they liked the best.
Now, I tried to be very classic because Stephanie came from a background, old money, where people were very classic and understated. So I wanted to be classic and not look ridiculous in the coming decades. I don't think I really succeeded, however. Her jewelry matched the bugle beads on her dress. She went all out with it, and she could pull it off.
I think that Mary felt at least if she looked beautiful, she was giving something. They would notice her just because she was so beautiful, which she was. It's all about the women as far as makeup was concerned. I think it was all about the eyes, which both of them loved, and they liked their rosy cheeks, which sometimes turned around to bite them in the rear end.
There was a lot of eyeshadow. Eyeshadow played a big, big role. And then at some point while I was on the show, I became allergic to eyeshadow, which is about the worst thing that could happen to you in the 80s. And I had to go to UCLA and have allergy testing and then have special eyeshadow made. It was kind of an emergency.
You could never give Mary too much eye makeup. No matter what I would give her, she would ask for more and more and more.
A little too much with the shoulder pads.
The shoulder pads were pretty much a phenomenon at that time. I mean, when you think of all the other shows that were on at that time too, it was all about the shoulder pads. And I don't know how it got started, but they just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I had an entire shelf of shoulder pads. Every shape, every contour, and we would try during our fittings every different kind of shoulder pad till we got just the right silhouette. And of course, as you can see, that really paid off.
I think it made all the women feel like their waist was really small and their hips were really small because their shoulders were so wide. It gives that illusion. They look like a movie star in an inn in Vermont.
Mary, just because she was beautiful, had great hair, and she had very classy tastes, was a perfect 80s fashion plate. She wore those big earrings very well. We used to tease her that a couple of stagehands were bringing in her earrings now because her earrings were so big. I don't think I escaped the 80s curse. I did try to stay classic, but I didn't do it. It was pretty sad, and now I look back and wow, the makeup just jumps out of the photographs. The makeup was kind of wearing us, and the clothes were kind of wearing us. Let's face it,